Սիրելի հայրենակիցներ, ես Tereza Yerimyanն եմ, հայթաթի հանձնախումբի Արևմտյան շրջանի գրասենյակի կառավարական աշխատանքների տնօրենը։ Ինչպես գիտեք, հունիսի 3-ին տեղի է ունենալու Լոս Անջելես գավառի շերիֆի ընտրությունները։ Այս պաշտոնի համար կան 4 տեխնացուներ, որոնց երկուսը այսօր մեր հյուրերն են։ Մնացեք մեր հետ, կարճ դադարից հետո կշարունակենք մեր ծրագիրը։ Assistant Sheriff Hemmold, thank you very much for joining us this evening and accepting our invitation to discuss your candidacy for LA County Sheriff.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Give us a little bit of a background of yourself, your past experiences, and just how you got to the point of being an Assistant Sheriff of LA County.
Well, I'm a 25-year veteran of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, and I've primarily served on the front line over the course of 25 plus years. I've worked my way through the ranks, through primarily patrol and special weapons, and then supervising patrol operations throughout Los Angeles County. I currently command all 42 contract cities and detective commands throughout Los Angeles County, where we've seen dramatic reductions in crime. In fact, crime is now at the lowest level in more than 40 years. So what I want to do is bring the priorities that we've brought to the patrol and detective commands in the Sheriff's Department and expand that county-wide so that we can continue to lower crime throughout Los Angeles County. We're not quite finished with what we want to do, so we want to always do better and always be on the top and always be a step ahead of criminals.
Wonderful. And in your experiences, what has brought you to run for LA County Sheriff?
Well, we had some problems within the organization. You know, Sheriff Baca, who was elected 4 consecutive times, did a very good job in some areas, particularly in the area of outreach and have inclusiveness within the Sheriff's Department, bring in all cultures. In fact, he was a very good friend of the Armenian community, as you well know. And so we need to continue those aspects of his leadership and his vision to the Sheriff's Department. But unfortunately, we needed to hold some people accountable. There was some upper management that he trusted and he should not have, and they need to be held accountable, and when I'm sheriff, they will be held accountable. We will ensure that your Sheriff's Department has the highest level of integrity and leadership that you would expect of your Sheriff's Department.
Wonderful. And in regards to the Armenian American community, you've obviously had a lot of experience, and as you mentioned, Sheriff Lee Baca was a very close friend to the community and addressed some of the issues that he saw. What are, in your years of experience, what are some of the concerns that you've seen or some of the issues that you would address in regards to the Armenian American community and the representation in the Sheriff's Department?
Well, it's very important to know exactly what the public safety needs are for each community. I think what's unique about the Sheriff's Department is, for example, the LAPD. They're a large organization. We think very highly of them. They're our partners. And, but they answer to one city council, one mayor, one police commission. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is much different. We have the courts, the jails, the Metro Rail system, and 42 separate contract cities. So we answer to 42 city councils and mayors. And so similarly to the question that you asked, we need to be responsive to all cities, all communities, all backgrounds and cultures to ensure that we understand the types of crime that people are impacted by. And we also need to bridge the gap of generations too. There's a growing number of population of young Armenians that we want to engage in the civic process and have them join the Sheriff's Department, bring on their language and cultural skills that they possess, and welcome and embrace what they have to offer to the Sheriff's Department. How would
you plan on executing those initiatives?
Well, I think it would be extremely important to recruit actively in the universities, at the colleges, even in the high schools, to encourage that relationship, that positive relationship with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. So our younger generations of kids in all cultures, but in this specific conversation, Armenian Americans, that they feel attached to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, that they feel like part of the solution to the future in areas that we need improvement in bringing those language and cultural skills into the Sheriff's Department so we can be directly responsive to the families and the communities. Because what we have in common, find out what we have in common. What we all have in common is us lifting up family and the traditions and the desire for family safety in any community that we live in. So we want to make sure that our younger generation of Armenians feel that they're attached and part of that solution.
I see. And do you have specific examples of where it's become a barrier, whether it's a language barrier or a generational barrier, that addressing it has become such a priority for you?
Well, it's just the desire to be responsive in a real way and not just talk, but actually have real solutions. What I mean by that is, for example, as we all recall, a few years back, we had some very severe rivalries and actually some warfare going on between the Hispanic Latino community and the Armenian community. And it's not appropriate for people to not truly understand what was behind all of that. And so engaging the community and knowing firsthand from our youth, from the families, exactly what was going on, what was garnering a lot of that animosity between each other, and getting to real solutions. And my compliments to Glendale Police Department for staying on top of that and being aware of exactly what the problems were. And then we have our brothers at Pasadena Police Department who also have a very good handle on knowing. And I'm very proud of our deputies at Crescenta Valley Station and Altadena Station for totally engaging Armenian community and the Latino community so we can come to a peaceful resolve in a real way, not just politicians talking, but actually increase peace in the community.
Perfect, wonderful. You mentioned it briefly earlier, but so our viewers understand the differences, what are the key differences between LAPD and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department? And you mentioned Glendale and Pasadena. What are some ways that you work together? Because you do have a lot of police departments under your jurisdiction.
That's right. Well, first and foremost, the sheriff of Los Angeles County is the chief law enforcement officer of the county. So in the case of a major disaster or emergency or earthquake or things of that nature, the sheriff has operational function of emergency operations. That's why the sheriff's department has the largest emergency operations bureau in the county and one of the most predominant in the United States, quite frankly. The resources are one of leadership for the entire nation. And so the sheriff has to have an in-depth knowledge of exactly how to deploy resources, the resources that are available. So that's first and foremost as the chief law enforcement officer. But the sheriff has a very different function in many ways. We have primary responsibility in the jails to house nearly 20,000 inmates. The court services, trial court security to make sure that we have proper security and protection in the courts and the lockups and operating the courts as bailiffs and things of that nature. And then of course we have 42 separate contract cities who contract with the Sheriff's Department to provide local policing services. And so we also interact with some of the other independent police departments, such as Pasadena, as we have a huge involvement at their request at the Rose Parade and the Rose Bowl Day festivities. And we help some other agencies in the San Gabriel Valley, like West Covina or Covina, with investigating homicides and major operations. And our special weapons team is involved. Our Aero Bureau provides helicopter services. So it's very interesting because your sheriff really needs to have an in-depth knowledge of the operations of the Sheriff's Department. There's no time for on-the-job training. You truly have to have an in-depth knowledge. We have great respect for all of our police departments throughout the county, but it's a different thing to answer to one city and then also know the entire operations of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Wonderful. And with that, we're going to go to a short break. Սիրելի հեռուստադիտողներ, կարճ դադարից հետո կշարունակենք մեր ծրագիրը։ Ողջույն նորից, այսօր մեր հյուրն է Los Angeles Գավառի շերիֆի տեխնացուն James Hamolda. Thank you for being with us again, and we'll continue. We're discussing the qualifications for the sheriff just a little while ago, and obviously you've been with the department 2 decades, 2.5 decades
yes,
now?
25 plus
25
years.
plus years. What is the transition going to be like? And you mentioned how it is a political position at the end of the day, being the Los Angeles County Department's sheriff. How are your responsibilities going to change?
Well, as the sheriff, you would have primary responsibility to set the course for the vision of the entire sheriff's department and, quite frankly, the public safety throughout all of Los Angeles County. Of course, we discussed earlier that the sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer. So there are other avenues that impact other police departments and public safety as a whole. So the sheriff would really need to set the course for the vision of the future of the department. And that's exactly where I garner motivation, because I truly believe we need new energy and new ideas forging into the future. We need to modernize our sheriff's department in every way. A lot of people say, well, he looks so young, but what I like to say is, okay, I'm only 46 years old, but I have 25 years of experience. I have the college background. I have the experience and respect within the organization. But most importantly, I want to bring in new energy, new ideas to the sheriff's department, modernize our equipment and technology and technical expertise so we're always a step ahead of criminal enterprises, but also in the way that we handle the sheriff's department. I want to function like a modern business. I mean, I want to hire people from all backgrounds. I want to recruit people from other cultures for their language and cultural skills. I want to equip our vehicles, for example, into the future. We have 3,000 vehicles on the sheriff's department. So why not equip them with the electronic, clean air, efficient vehicles? It makes more sense for the cleanliness of the environment. It's a more prudent fiscal decision, and it generates more jobs throughout Los Angeles County. So I want to bring in modern ideas such as that, not only related to public safety, but also in our business plan to function as a sheriff's department.
And you mentioned public safety. Public safety is a big concern for the Armenian American community, especially because we have a very mixed community. We have a elderly population where sometimes whether it's crossing the streets, and it's become a very large issue in Glendale, pedestrian safety, to safety for small businesses and the recent burglaries and other issues that have come up generally in the community. How does the Sheriff's Department, how can the Sheriff's Department address those issues?
Well, being responsive. And it gets back to, again, my ideas of recruiting from within the population. We find, not only in the Armenian community, but for example in the Chinese community, we find that they're often victimized within their own culture or background or race. And what's interesting to me, I have many Armenian friends both on the Sheriff's Department and in the community, and what they tell me is they know who's responsible for a lot of the crimes. They know exactly how things were stolen. They know exactly some of the white-collar crime and how people are conducting it. And it bothers them that sometimes law enforcement is a step behind. And so my whole point is that's exactly why we need to have people involved in the agency who truly understand some of the new tricks of the trade that are going on when it comes to criminal enterprises. And it can erode in public trust if people within the different communities think, the Sheriff's Department or the police department, whatever the situation is, they really don't understand what's going on. And in some cases that's true, and that's exactly why we want to garner community support to ensure that we're always a step ahead as opposed to a step behind.
If there is a message you had for young individuals to join the Sheriff's Department, what would that message be?
Well, it would be that this is your Sheriff's Department, and so you need to take ownership in a civic duty and a civic responsibility. I was brought up to respect my elders and respect the cultural background that I come from. My mother was first generation Italian, my father German. And so it's interesting, but we're all proud Americans. But what my point in saying that is the way you honor your family and the way that you honor the tradition of the past is to make sure that you're part of the community in the future, because that means it'll perpetuate and honor those traditions. When you have a civic duty, you're part of the future of this country and also public safety. A perfect example of that is a lot of the monuments that are being put up as far as the Armenian genocide and people's knowledge of that. Now, this would not occur unless you had civic involvement of the older generation, ensuring that the government will pay respect to our families of the past. And so we want to garner that same level of respect and involvement by the younger generation. And that's what I'm encouraging. Be involved in government. Be involved in the Sheriff's Department. The only way to do that is to actively recruit from our younger generation so that they pay that proper respect to our traditions.
Absolutely. And just as a final sentiment, are there any parting messages you'd like to give our viewers?
Well, I respect public safety and family safety, and I would just ask you to look at all the candidates, and don't forget to vote June 3rd. And regardless of who you vote for, I want you to know that I'm committed to public safety and public trust in your Sheriff's Department. That means responding to calls for service quick, being prepared in our schools for school safety, emergency preparedness, and quite frankly, any large venue, whether it's churches, malls, and anywhere in the community. I want to bring community involvement and youth outreach to ensure future success. I want to remind people that this is your Sheriff's Department, and I want to be your sheriff, so I encourage people to vote on June 3rd for James Helmold for sheriff.
And I will echo that, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Armenian National Committee of America, Western Region, I too want to encourage you to get out and vote. On June 3rd, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., polls will be open and they await for your voice to be heard. It is very important, as our Assistant Sheriff mentioned, to be represented in the community, and it is your right as an American citizen to exercise the ability to vote and have your voice heard. Many times our community's voice is not heard because not enough people participate. And like I said, in order for the Armenian American community to be heard, you, yes, you, must get out there on June 3rd and vote. Whether you vote absentee or you vote at the polls, what matters is that you go out there and you make a choice on the candidates and you're there to vote. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it and we wish you the best of luck on your campaign.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Մնացեք մեր հետ, կարճ դադարից հետո կշարունակենք մեր հաջորդ տեխնացուի հետ։ Բարև ձեզ սիրելի հայրենակիցներ, ես Tereza Երեմյանն եմ և մենք շարունակում ենք մեր եթերը։ Այսօր մեր հետն է Հակոբ Հերգելյանը, որը խորհրդատուն է Լոս Անջելես գավառի շերիֆի տեխնացու Ջիմ Մcդոնալդի։ Ներկայիս պարոն Ջիմ Մcդոնալդը Long Beach քաղաքի ոստիկանապետն է։ Բարև ձեզ, պարոն Հերգելյան։
Բարև ձեզ։
Շատ շնորհակալություն, որ մեր հրավերքը ընդունեցիք եւ այստեղ եք։
Շատ շնորհակալ եմ ձեր հրավերքի համար։ Շատ ուրախ եմ այստեղ լինելով եւ Ջիմ Մcդոնալդի եւ իմ կողմից նորից մեր շնորհակալությունն ենք հայտնեմ ձեր այս ընդառաջած հրավերքին։
Մի քիչ բացատրեք Ջիմ Մcդոնալդի. Give us a little bit of detail and background of Mr. McDonald.
Jim McDonald was born in Boston, Massachusetts. He came to the Los Angeles area in 1971 at the age of 21. And he entered into the Los Angeles Police Department's academy. He became a police officer in 1971, and then for the next 29 years served in the Los Angeles Police Department and rose through the ranks to be the number 2 person, the assistant chief to William Bratton, and he was in charge of running the day-to-day operations of the department. For the last 4 years, he has been chief of the city of Long Beach, chief of police of the city of Long Beach, which has the second largest municipal law enforcement agency in the Los Angeles County. Last year, he was the president of the Los Angeles County Police Chiefs Association. In the past, he has been president of the California Police Chiefs Association. The Los Angeles Police Chiefs Association is made up of the 45 independent law enforcement agencies in the county of Los Angeles. He is also a commissioner on the California Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission. He has also served on the Citizens Commission on Jail Violence, looking into the jail violence at the jails of the Los Angeles County Sheriffs. He served with retired judges, individuals that are experts in use of force. He was appointed by Don Knabe, supervisor, Los Angeles County supervisor, and they came up with 63 recommendations as to improving jail conditions in the Los Angeles County jails.
Wonderful. And why is Mr. Mcdonald interested in becoming the next sheriff of Los Angeles County?
Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is facing unique challenges. As I stated, as the #2 person in the Los Angeles Police Department, he served at a time when the Los Angeles Police Department was going through challenges. This was right after the Rampart scandal. The United States Justice Department had come down with a consent decree, and he worked with the Justice Department to implement that consent decree to bring about changes to the Los Angeles Police Department, and he was very successful, and the department emerged as a better and a stronger department. So he will take those skills, the skill sets that he has developed in implementing the consent decree at the Los Angeles Police Department. He will take it to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and implement and bring about changes and bring back the pride and to the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department.
Very nice. In his years of experience, he's first of all, public safety and law enforcement are two very important issues and concerns of the Armenian American community. In his years of experience, how has Mr. Mcdonald either cooperated, or what experiences he's had with the Armenian American community? What issues has he seen arise in the community that he is going to address?
Well, Jim Mcdonald is a strong believer in law enforcement and community partnerships. He believes in extending a hand to the community, in developing a relationship with the community, in enhancing and expanding relationship with the community, developing those relationships into partnerships with the community. So in that respect, as I mentioned before, he is from the Boston area, from Boston, Massachusetts. That was one of the original Armenian communities in the New England area. Coming to Los Angeles in the 1970s was at a time when the Armenian community was developing on the West Coast in the Los Angeles area. As a member of the Los Angeles Police Department in the past, the Los Angeles area, the Los Angeles city being home to a large number of Armenians, he has worked with the community in developing those partnerships. As Los Angeles County Sheriff, he will continue doing the same, developing those partnerships, enhancing those partnerships, expanding the relationships with the community. He will be very proactive as far as the issues facing the community, and particularly the Armenian community, addressing those issues and finding solutions to whatever problems that are facing the community.
Now, what is the plan of execution? How does he intend on identifying the problems in the community and then resolving them?
What he will be doing is he will be listening to the community. He will be soliciting from the community what it is that the community is facing, what it is that the Sheriff's Department can do, and what it is that he can do as the Sheriff of the Los Angeles County. He will reach out to the members of the community. He will reach out to the leaders of of the Armenian community. In fact, he is endorsed and supported by well-known and respected Armenian Americans such as Governor George Akmajian, former District Attorney Robert Pelevosian, former California Supreme Court Justice Armand Arabian, Judge Ronald Sohigian, and so on.
Thank you very much. Now, he is currently a part of the Long Beach Police Department.
Yes.
Police chief. What is the difference for our viewers, the difference between LAPD or the police departments in general and the sheriff's department?
He is currently the police chief of the city of Long Beach, and he is the only police chief that is a candidate out of the 7 candidates that are running for the Los Angeles County Sheriff. He is the only chief that is running. The state of California is divided into counties, 58 counties, and each county has a sheriff. In Los Angeles County, there are only 3 elected officials at the county level besides the Board of Supervisors, which are the assessors, the district attorney, and the sheriff. The sheriff has jurisdiction over the entire county. The sheriff has jurisdiction over the unincorporated areas. They patrol and serve the unincorporated areas. They also serve 40 cities that have contracted with the Sheriff's Department to provide law enforcement in those cities. The Sheriff's Department also runs the jails, which is the largest county jail in the nation. Los Angeles County being the largest county in the world. They also have the contracts for the transit authority. They also have the contract for the community colleges. They run the largest the bus system that transports the inmates back and forth from jails to the courts. They run a medical facility in the jails. They run mental health facilities in the jails. The municipal law enforcement agencies in the county of Los Angeles are 45, and those are the individual cities that have their own police departments. The sheriff's department is for the entire Los Angeles County, and every resident of Los Angeles County can vote for the sheriffs. Also, the sheriff's department contracts with municipalities, with cities that have their own law enforcement agencies. They also provide, for some of them, they provide the bomb squad services, they provide the SWAT services, they also provide the criminal or homicide investigations for those cities.
Thank you. Կարճ դադարից հետո կշարունակենք մեր ծրագիրը։ Welcome back. Today we have with us Hagop Hergelyan, who is the advisor to LA County candidate for LA County Sheriff, Mr. Jim Mcdonald. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you.
Now, we discussed Mr. McDonald's qualifications and his involvement with the Armenian American community. What is Mr. McDonald's vision for the LA County Sheriff's Department?
Jim McDonald will bring a proven record of reform to the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. He will bring a set of fresh eyes to look at the issues and challenges that are facing the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. He has a deep understanding of the challenges that are facing the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. He has credibility at the local, state, and national level within law enforcement. And he has the willingness and ability to work with the Board of Supervisors and the new Inspector General of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department to bring about those changes, to implement those reforms at the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. He will implement, as I mentioned before, he was a commissioner on the Civilian Commission on Jail Violence. He will implement the the reforms that were recommended by that commission, the 63 reforms that came about from that commission. He will implement those. He will take a new look at the mental health at the Los Angeles County jails. 20% of the Los Angeles County jail inmates have mental issues, and jail is an alternative to mental health treatment for a lot of these individuals. So he will look in the community if there are other resources where these people can be diverted to receive that mental health assistance. He will bring balanced accountability and transparency. He will create new internal audit and inspection divisions. He will do an external audit of the and identify areas of financial mismanagement, improve financial accountability. He will enhance training. He will improve disciplinary procedures. He will bifurcate the sheriff's deputies that are in the jails, in the custody division, and the deputies that are outside on patrol. Because right now, when you become a sheriff's deputy, you serve in the jails initially in the custody division, and then it will be years before you are transferred out to the patrols. So there are a lot of deputies that want to do the custodial services, and there are a lot of deputies that want to be on patrol. So he will bifurcate those. He will bring new to the custodial division. He will bring new accountability for those deputies that are on track in the custodial division.
Now, you mentioned audits and the reforms. Why is it important to implement these reforms? Is there a preceding reason for it?
Yes, as I mentioned before, and I've stated throughout, the department is facing a lot of challenges. Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. There are issues in the jails. There are issues in the hiring practices, and there are multiple issues that are facing the department. So by implementing these reforms, these changes to the department, it will bring about change to the department, and the department will emerge as a much stronger department from those reforms.
Now, do you believe that the LA County Sheriff's Department, as it stands today, has an appropriate representation of Armenian Americans in the department, and even an understanding of the nuances in the community?
It is with all the law enforcement agencies in the County of Los Angeles. There should be more representation at the police officer level or the deputy level, in the case of Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. We should urge our community, members of our community, to look at law enforcement as a career, to go into the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department or to any municipal law enforcement agency. Today we're talking about the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. We should have more representation. We do have deputies of Armenian descent. We should have more. We should be more involved with the department. We should be more communicating with the department, communicating with the leadership, communicating with the sheriff as far as what our community is facing, what our needs are, and what the challenges are that are facing the community, and work with the sheriff's department in resolving those issues, in bringing about resolution to those challenges.
Now, as we mentioned, this is a political position. It's an elected position, the LA County Sheriff's position. And Mr. Mcdonald, or Chief Mcdonald, has been in law enforcement for over 30, almost 40 years?
33 years.
33 years. So how is he going to make sure that he's not just a politician, but remains as an officer?
again, he has been in law enforcement for the last 33 years. Number 2 at Los Angeles Police Department, currently the chief of the Long Beach Police Department. He wants to become the Los Angeles sheriff, although it is an elected position, but it is also a position where you will have to manage a sheriff's department. He brings a track record. He brings a background that is in law enforcement. He brings a background where he has faced these challenges. He brings a background where he has resolved the issues facing a law enforcement agency.
There are a couple of minutes left to our program today. Are there any parting messages you have for our community today?
Yes. First of all, thank you for having us here tonight. On behalf of Chief Jim Mcdonald, thank you for giving us this opportunity to communicate with our community. Jim Mcdonald unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. He is in Boston attending the graduation of his youngest daughter. He is a proud father, a family man, in addition to being a chief of police and a candidate for Los Angeles County Sheriff. Jim Mcdonald is asking for your vote on June the 3rd to become Los Angeles County Sheriff, to bring reform and change to the department, to bring back pride to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, to bring back the public confidence in the department. Մեր սիրելի հայրենակիցներին ուզում եմ հայրենով երկու խոսք ուղղել ոստիկանապետ Ջիմ Մկդոնալդի կողմից նախ իր բարի մաղթանքները եւ ողջույններն եմ ուզում ուղղել ձեզ Ջիմ Մկդոնալդը տեխնացու է Los Angeles County Sheriff-ի եւ այս հունիսի 3-ին քվեարկությունը տեղի է ունենալու ուրեմն ձեր քվեարկթերթիկների վրա համար 202-ն է Ջիմ Մկդոնալդ Los Angeles County Sheriff-ի տեխնացու եւ ուզում է ձեր քվեն վաստակել եւ խոստում է տալիս որ Los Angeles County Sheriff բաժանմունքը պիտի բարեփոխի, պիտի հպարտությունը հետ բերի այդ բաժանմունքին։
Շնորհակալություն։ Սիրելիներ, այսօր ձեզ ծանոթացրենք երկու Los Angeles County Sheriff-ի տեխնացուների հետ։ Խնդրում ենք, որ բոլորը մասնակցենք հունիսի 3-ի ընտրություններին։ Իսկ մենք, սիրելիներ, նորից կհանդիպենք հունիսի 1-ի հայդադի թելեթոնին։ Հիշեք, որ կարող եք այսօր մասնակցեք զանգելով 1855 208 2622 եւ ձեր նվիրատվությունը ներկայացնեք։ Կարող եք նաեւ տեքստ անել ANCA 80888 հեռախոսահամարին։ Շատ շնորհակալություն։